Forij, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah,
Your
that's
business.
it.
Tell me about Forij, man. So, because I've seen obviously probably the bare minimum. I know it's mushrooms,
Mhm.
and I know you're doing granola with it,
Yeah,
but
yeah. So I'll maybe give a little backdrop and just how we found ourselves here. So I mentioned earlier that I was doing some of this like dieting or just like switching things up every 30 days. So I did it for about 18 months,
hmm,
and I don't know why I did it. I'm sure I could talk to a therapist one day of like what I was trying to prove to myself or something. But I think for me, it was right after I graduated college and I had like a corporate job and I felt very constricted.
yeah,
So I think for me, it was like an expression of myself,
hmm,
of like I'm gonna do things differently because I can. And basically, towards the end of that, I was looking for kind of a broader challenge and ended up signing up for half Ironman. It was like, training could be really fun, and it got
hmm,
really into like fitness. Um, but over the 18 months, like the vast majority of them were really food related, supplement related. Some of them were like meditation or sleep related. But really, what I found was that from like a dieting or like nutrition standpoint, like you know, I found that sort of my body and really like energy, like mood and sleep were best when I was eating like whole food ingredients. And I really liked the effects that like functional mushrooms had as well. And so those were definitely two of the keys. And the last thing I noticed from doing a lot of the dieting was, like you could go and do keto for 30 days or be vegan or whole 30 for 30 days. But if you don't actually like what you're eating or like things taste good, like it's really hard to stick with over time. So for me, it was like, or like I started to sort of believe in these three keys of like eating whole food ingredients, supplementing with functional mushrooms, and eating food that you actually like, that like tastes good, in order to sustain that sort of nutrition portfolio, if you will. Um, so from
good
there,
deal.
so from there, yeah, I was, was really getting into functional mushrooms and was starting to train. And so I started to, I wanted to kind of like optimize my meals for nutrition. And so I started creating this like oatmeal where I would put, essentially dried mushroom powder. So functional mushrooms, right? Like lion's mane, chaga, reishi, cordyceps. Those are the names of some. Turkey tail. You're starting to see products crop up all over the market. A lot of like mushroom coffees, and basically, I was taking those dried mushroom powders and putting them in my oatmeal with like seeds and nuts. And then that sort of transformed into a granola. And then, next thing I know, I'm bringing that into work and letting people try it. And I'm running blind taste tests at the gym. In between sets, I would bring like our granola and other granolas and see what people would think. And for me, it was partially just for fun. Like it was
Yeah.
exciting that like, yeah, I was making something and people liked it, but also I was looking for something that had functional mushrooms in it that I could just like eat or like seamlessly kind of work into my like daily habits. So, I went through a lot of like the mushroom coffees and teas and just like, I like coffee and I didn't like kind of like, they all sort of tasted a little groundy or like
Mm,
earthy.
yep.
So I was looking for sort of a seamless way to include functional mushrooms into sort of this like whole food dieting approach that I developed. So that was really like the genesis, and was kind of kicking it around, wasn't really, just kind of just messing around with it. And then I went to a startup conference with a friend out in San Francisco, like HustleCon, and it was really just to see my friend. Like we went out and he was like, hey, I really want to go to this, will you come? And I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. We went out and like you're networking, and this is before COVID, and everyone's like, oh, like what's your thing? What's your idea, or like your business, or like what are you trying to do? And so I basically like fabricated to a degree. It was like, oh, I'm like making like the first like functional mushroom like food focused product like that allows like anybody to basically start trying or supplementing with functional mushrooms without tasting it at all.
Mm.
And a lot of people were like, oh, I have no idea what that is. Or like some people were like, oh, that sounds cool. And then there were a couple, angel investors in particular that were like, oh, that sounds really interesting. Like I'm really into mushrooms. I think there's a big opportunity there. So based off of that, one of them was like, send me your pitch deck. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I'll send it to you like next week. And then so I went back and like built a logo, like hired
Yep.
a freelancer to like build a logo and like put together some sort of like deck. And then yeah, and then it sort of just spiraled out of control from there. So yeah, so today we have a granola product that it's whole food ingredients, functional mushroom extracts. But in theory, and really what we want to do is like we want to create foods that really align with those three values that I highlighted, right? Whole food ingredients with like added benefits, health benefits from functional mushroom extracts. So think like natural energy, like mental focus, and really like immune support. Those are the big three that we focus on. And then something that like tastes good. So today it's granola, but like who knows, like tomorrow it could be like crackers or like butters or like anything really. It's really just aligning to sort of those three values, and really just trying to help people, have better energy, sleep better, and really just have more control over their mood from a day-to-day basis.
So is it just a powder? Are you creating a powder and then just like mixing it into these already foods, or with the granola, is it actual chunks of mushroom that's in the granola? Like how is it
Yeah.
being integrated into the food?
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people ask that, and it's the initial point of confusion of like, so we definitely don't use like mushrooms, like actual chunks of mushrooms. Rather,
Okay.
we use functional mushroom extracts or mushroom extracts. So think of like a CBD extract.
Yeah.
Like you'll see it come in like a tincture format or like an oil. That is what we're essentially mixing into our product. And so what that allows us to do is to take really like hyper concentrated doses and add them into our products. And so like you really can't taste them. And so they're basically like really fine powders, or like liquid extracts. So no, there are no like chunks of mushrooms or anything. And you really would have like no idea that they're in there.
What's up, guys? Thank you for watching the video that you just watched. If you liked any video that I have put out, or again, the one you just watched, please subscribe to my channel, as I have a new episode coming out every single week with new clips coming out every single week as well. And I'm not stopping. So if you enjoy this, or enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed what you just listened to, or anything else that you have watched from my channel in the past, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe. All right. Thanks, guys.